But let's crack this open. Let's get into the spoilers, bro. What? Hey, did you know the story of these two individuals before we watched the movie? Because I did not know at all.
Honestly, I had absolutely no clue any of this ever happened. Obviously, if you use common sense, something like this at some point had to have happened. There had, because at some point, African American people were not allowed to buy homes. So
Yeah.
obviously, we know something happened to crack this whole thing open. But I never knew the story.
Yeah. And I think when you see the way of Anthony Mackie's character, how he originally is working with the Irish dude, and him and the Irishman have that conversation where he's like, like basically he says, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't know what it's like to be black, but I know there are people that I do business with that shake my hand and immediately spit after I leave, all because I'm Irish. And it's unfortunate that that character died, and then they kind of had, that's when Samuel L. Jackson's character came in the mix and everything. But you got to see very early on that Anthony Mackie really wanted. He wasn't necessarily in it for the money. He was in it to make an impact and to
A change.
and to make a change, and that is automatically what endeared me to the character. And I think his pride, and we'll also ultimately talk about his hubris, which I think played a huge part in his downfall once they wanted to go into Texas. But I think like that first 20-25 minutes, or however long it was, really did a good job at like us getting behind him as a character.
Yeah, I mean, immediately I was rooting for him from the beginning because yes, you always want to see the poor man succeed, but more importantly, it was why he was trying to do it. Yes, the money was good, but it was more the messaging behind it. Like he
Mm-hmm.
wants to open this up, and it wasn't only about the business end of it. Like, yeah, I want to open doors up for other black men and black women to own property. It wasn't even so much that it was he was buying these buildings and then moving in black families that otherwise couldn't afford it to live in properties or in these nicer areas. And he said from the beginning, like, I want to buy homes in white areas and bring families in. And that's exactly what he did. They would show the map and
Mm-hmm.
he literally had the words like white on there or something. And he was just
Yeah.
kind of taking it over. So, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And once they got into the place of buying banks, right, and being able to give out loans, it was like you said, I had no idea that it was able to happen. But when you see how smart he was, right, of like he didn't do it because like I think a lot of like if this story would have been fictional, a lot of stuff that they would have told would be like, oh, well, he gave black people lower rates than what they should have just because they're black. He didn't do all that. He
No.
wanted to legitimately give people fair rates, and he looked at it, but he wanted to give that same opportunity to black people who didn't have it before, and because of that, like he completely flipped the dynamic. And had they not gone into Texas, and to get into the actual story, like his dad, I forgot what his dad said to him when he was younger. Like he had told him that he wanted to do something. He was like leave that dream alone or whatever. And he went back. He visited his father, and then he was walking around in the South with his son in Texas, and he saw that bank, and the wheels started turning in his head, and he wanted to buy that bank. And it sucks that if he would have never tried to do that in the South in Texas, it probably would have never went to jail.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit too big for his britches, but
Yeah.
always look at it half full. If he would have never went to jail, with all due respect, you might not even own a house today.
Yeah, the Fair Housing Act was basically directly because of that. And while he did go to jail when he gave his testimony, they did lock him up. It brought so much awareness to what was going on because he had the public eye on him. It was kind of hard to ignore at that point. And I had like somebody who works in banking, and I know the Fair Housing Act very well. Did not know at all that it was in response to a story like this.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe April of this year will be the 52-year anniversary because I believe it was April of '68, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, although they kind of led to their downfall and they both did time, what eventually came out of it was something good that will be remembered forever. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think about like the character Matt? So we talked about, and that's Nicholas Holt's character. And so we go through the scene. They eventually ask him to be basically to act as one of them. He was the face of the company because a black man couldn't go in and buy banks. They would have laughed them out of it, out of the damn office, if not try to arrest them as well. So that he was kind of the face of it. He was showing up at these meetings or whatever. Samuel L. Jackson's character was dressing up as his chauffeur. And it's just, that was just hilarious. But ultimately, like, he wanted his own bank. He got his own bank and completely just was not ready. Fucked everything up. And it sucks because, like, you see scenes of him, of like them teaching him numbers, him saying I can remember it, and him sitting down and helping them seal some of the deals of these. But once he gets his own bank and starts making his own decisions, he was really in over his head, and I think gullible as well. And that's what kind of hurt him, is him being gullible to the things that were going on.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was actually ready. They trained him really good. Anthony Mackie's character trained him really good. Well, his downfall was exactly what you said. He was gullible, because where the downfall came was when they opened up the smaller bank, which I believe was called the Marlin, if I'm not mistaken, the Marlin Bank, and he took over some of the accounts, and he opened up these accounts for these African American clients. There's a certain boundary that he was to stay in terms of how much he can loan, and you know, the terms, and he went past whatever the red line is. I don't remember whatever the red line was. He went past the red line, which is fine, because Anthony Mackie would always look over the numbers, and he specifically told him, like, hey, you got to take that out. We can't give loans to these. They don't qualify. And he forgot to do that. And from the minute they found out, like, hey, this is black owned, they were just auditing everything left and right. So they had to close out all those accounts. And obviously, you know, after they had to close out those accounts, he tried to switch to the other bank, and that ended up fucking things up even worse.
Yeah, and then it also contributed that the bank that they bought in Texas, the person who sold it to them, son, was really trying to sabotage them. And I forgot that character's name behind the scenes as well. So it was a lot working against them, but at the same time, it was, you can see where there was a lot of different things that ultimately played a part in it, and there was a lot of different places that they could have, if they would have not put him in charge of that bank, or if they would have not went into Texas, or if he would have been looking over things a little bit better. If also they never got exposed as being, that was one of the best scenes as well, when the guy found out that they were actually black owned, and he was like, well, no, your dad knew about it. You even asked about us, and he was like, no, I didn't. How would you even know that? And Samuel Jackson puts on the glasses, like, do you remember me now? And it's like, it shows that he didn't even pay attention to black people being in the room just because of the status that he thought they would. Little do you know, you have one of the masterminds sitting in there the whole time.
Right. And the thing was, they wanted to give Nichols' character a chance to run his own bank, because that was the agreement from the beginning. Like, hey, you guys are getting the first one. The second one will be mine, like, as a thank you for him helping. And he also wasn't really pushing the fact, but really it was his wife that was like, hey, they promised you, they need to give this to you. So, you know, they gave him the bank, and like you said, he wasn't necessarily ready for it, and that led to their demise, sort of.
Hey, white women lead to the demise of great men all the time.
There you go.
I'm
sorry. Just ask OJ.
I'm just
whatever listeners we had left, we just lost them.
Thank you. All our listeners are now gone. That's it. They're like, these two motherfuckers, these colored brothers over here. Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm just joking, people. We're just joking. My dad's white. I'm just joking. There you go.
I love how you throw that out there. But yeah, my dad's white. Yeah, my co-host, my friend, his dad is white as well.
Plus, like, your cousin's married to a white guy. We just got to throw all it in there, all the qualifiers.
Yeah, I'm just doing all. That's my disclaimer. You threw in yours, I'm throwing in mine.
But yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about, like, what happened? The fact that they then, after all this came down, they get arrested. The prosecutors cuts a deal with Matt. He turns on them. We'll get into the twist at the end either, because I didn't see that coming. But he turns on them, and then they still were trying to help Anthony Mackie and Samuel Jackson avoid jail time. All they had to do, I forgot what type of testimony they wanted them to give or whatnot, but they had a chance. And Anthony Mackie he wanted to go out and make a statement, and they ultimately did. 3 years in jail, had all their assets seized, all their buildings seized. I forgot how many buildings they owned at the time, all but I think they were able to save 3. And other than that, they lost everything.
Yeah, I think they I want to say, I don't remember how much they had, and they seized everything. So his wife, Anthony Mackie's wife, Nia Long, couldn't have you got anything. They seize all the money, all the assets, everything. And I think what they wanted them to do, if I recall, was they wanted them to plead guilty, but they wanted them to say that something along the lines of like, oh man, I don't remember what it was. And I know it was such an integral part, but they wanted them to make a statement, and not only plead guilty, but to make a statement to where like this would never happen again, and like have it that like black men or anyone colored would never be able to like own property again. And Anthony McInerney was like, "Fuck that, send me to jail."
Yeah, yeah. And then they get out of jail after serving their 3 years, and what they didn't know is that Anthony Mackie's character actually made a deal with Matt Nicholas Holt's character that he would buy them 2 houses in the Bahamas, and ultimately that led them to being able to do real estate in the Bahamas, and then they came back to the United States and actually bought more buildings and houses. So it all kind of worked out. It was really just a good story. Like I didn't know what the movie was about fully before watching it. I just knew that it was about black people buying banks. So it really had me engaged throughout the whole time. What are you laughing at, you bastard?
Because I'm just thinking like that's like the BET review. Hi, I'm CEO Haize and the banker. Yeah, it's just black people buying banks.
Black people buying banks, motherfucker. You gotta throw in the motherfucker because it's Samuel.
That's the BET review.
I'm so glad this was not a BET movie, by the way.
Oh god, this movie would have went a whole lot different. A whole lot different. We wouldn't have had Samuel Jackson. We would have probably had like Marlon Wayans or some shit. I don't know.
Could you imagine Marlon Wayans playing Anthony Mackie's character?
Like Marlon Wayans from like Don't Be a Menace, like Loke Dog Marlon Wayans. Like I need to buy that bank, motherfucker.
Yeah. But yeah, anything left with the movie that you want to talk about specifically, bro?
Nah, man. If you haven't seen this, definitely go and watch it. It's a really good message. Props to Apple Plus. This is a good one they got. I haven't seen too many Apple Plus movies, so yeah, this is definitely a good one to watch. And I'm excited to see what else they got coming.
Yeah, I mean, Apple Plus really has had some really good content. They had the show that M. Night Shyamalan had a part in. I can't remember the name of it now. That was really good. I know you like horror. You should watch it. I think it's like six to 8 episodes or something like this. So it's not like an extremely long thing. That was really good.
But does he direct?
He does, and he actually did not
I'm a
write
big fan of his.
He did not write any of it, so it doesn't have like the
twists.
It does have a twist, but he didn't write the twist, so it's not like one of those the twist is revealed very quickly. So yeah, very early on. I think even in the first, I'm pretty sure that I can say in the first episode the twist is revealed, so that gets out the way pretty quickly there. But yeah, they've done a little. I haven't watched. There's a show on there that everybody's talking about, and it has the daughter from she's done a lot since then, from Married with Children in it. What is the name of that show?
Christina Applegate.
Yeah, Christina Applegate's in it, and
yeah, I think I've heard of something like that.
It's getting great reviews. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, damn, I forgot the name of it. I know what you're talking about though, because I saw it on somewhere, advertisement online or something. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Apple Plus is really, we've talked about the streaming wars before. I don't even think we mentioned Apple Plus at the time. I don't know if it had officially launched or not, but Oprah's doing some exclusive content there for them as well. So that's going to get people to show up. So yeah, it seems like they are really taking their time, and whereas what they're doing versus Disney Plus, and that's my issue that I said with Disney Plus, is that they have had a steady stream of exclusives. It's like once one exclusive ends, we get a movie. Then that movie has its couple of weeks, and then we get another series, and then a movie. So they seem to have their exclusive a little bit better planned out than Disney Plus did, which is definitely good. It's called The Morning Show. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, The Morning Show is Jennifer Aniston in that as well?
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon's in it.
They won some awards this past season.
That doesn't even surprise me.
Yeah, because Jennifer Aniston, I almost said Nicole Aniston, which is a porn star. Jennifer Aniston won. I want to say she won a Oscar for that. It was either an Oscar or a Golden Globe or something. And yeah, for that show. So yeah, I definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, you definitely gotta check it out. I mean, it seems like Apple Plus is doing good right now with their programming. So we'll see how that continues to build out, man.
Yep.
But anything left, JB?
No, man, just enjoy talking about the banker. Good pick there, and yeah, we'll see what we get next.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see what's coming up next. I think we talked about we're going to like do a poll. It's going to be basically streaming content. So this is your chance really to give us a suggestion on anything streaming you think we'll like that we haven't talked about or haven't checked out. You may also hear some reviews from us of some things that we missed over the last year. So be on the lookout for that. But I got nothing left, JB. Go ahead and give them your social media.
Well, I can be reached on Twitter at the P1JB, and of course, I can be reached on Facebook, JayB Haize, and Haize is going to give us the information about the Facebook group. Also, for anyone watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe. You know the whole nine. We're trying to put more YouTube content, more video content out there. Just remember to share this, and shout outs to everybody who watched the platform. I know we've been getting some good numbers there. It might be our most viewed video, if I'm not mistaken, but Haize will probably talk about that a little bit.
That was our most viewed video within 12 hours of it being released, which is it's flabbergasting how quick people hopped on to that. And I know the platforms have been getting a lot of attention, especially on social media with the isolation and everything that people are going through, the quarantine. So the fact that many of you guys showed up for a review from us, when I know there's a lot of other major reviewers out there who have reviews on it, we appreciate it. We're a few away from 300 views on that video. So
really?
Yeah, wow. We're at 292 on that video.
Shit.
Yeah, so
I think 290 of them are mine.
and 89% of those, just to give a peek behind the analytics. I know this is great content for people who don't care about this type of thing.
We're doing the banker, so we have to give some kind of numbers.
89% of those views came from a YouTube search. So people are clearly searching out the platform, information on the platform. So we're glad that you found your way to us, and hopefully you stayed around, you subscribed to the podcast and all that good shit.
And if you haven't seen the platform, definitely go ahead and check it out. And when you're done watching it, it's on Netflix. Go over to YouTube, The Film Frequency, and watch our review.
Absolutely. But that's it. You can follow me at CEO Haize. That's at CEO Haize. If you want to follow us collectively, you can do so at the P1JB. Why did I just get...
Thanks, bro.
If you want to follow us collectively, you can do so at the Film Bros Pod. If you want to send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, the Film Frequency Pod at gmail.com. And lastly, that discussion group that JB talked about, just search the Film Frequency Podcast or the Film Frequency, and I'm sure it'll be the first thing to pop up. We'll be looking out for you guys there so you guys can join the discussion and we can have fun talking about this good and great entertainment news that we like talking about. But for JB, that's it for this week. We are out. Peace.
Let's go buy some banks with that 10-cent check.
I wish we could buy some fucking banks, bro. I wish.